Um, I feel like a lot of people, when they create, heterodox content, the word, do you know the origin of the word trolling, by the way?
I'm not sure that I do.
Let me tell you the origin of the word trolling, and then
Please.
I'll tell you why I don't troll. The origin of the word trolling, first of all, if you've ever, has anyone ever trolled, in fishing? Any fishermen in the room? I can see, okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, you have slowly from the back of the boat, you're dragging basically this lure, right? I have trolled, I have fished for bass. It's lower class to fish for bass, which is why I like it. Like people of quality fish for trout, and they certainly don't troll. Nonetheless, the word trolling as we use it now was actually a product of the Vietnam War. Did you know this?
I did not.
So it was invented, with a clear analogy to the fishing practice. Basically, U.S. What were called wild weasels, which were like an F-104, I think, outfitted with some kind of electronic intercept category, would basically fly across surface-to-air missile sites in North Vietnam, trying to get surface-to-air missiles shot at them so they could basically lock onto the launchers and destroy them with counter missiles. So anytime you're thinking of the word trolling, you should be like, where are my radar-seeking missiles? And if you're just like out there basically trying to attract fire, you should really question why you're doing this. And of course that question could be asked about the whole Vietnam War, right? And so, when people basically go, there were like, if you remember in like in early 2017, there were like these like provocations in Berkeley, like these Antifa, Breitbart riots. It seems like something from like the 15th century now. The whole thing, was really quite, it was very LARPy, if you know the term. It was very kind of pretend. And the thing that I dislike about it most, and the one thing that I would basically caution all heterodox thinkers about, is that the one thing you really don't want to do is inhabit the stereotypes of your opponents. So basically, you have, anyone who's kind of, working in some direction has people working against them, right? And those people who are working against you see you as a certain kind of person. They imagine, oh, this is what our enemies are like. And because their frame is so dominant, it's really easy to inhabit that caricature. Because basically, you've been taught by them, oh, this is what, our enemies are like. They believe this, they believe that, they do this, they do that. And if you basically get that so deeply into your head that you're like, oh, I oppose you, I do this, I do that, you don't really have your own frame. You're still operating in their frame. And you're operating in a way which is much more valuable to them than if you even supported them.
So was this type of strategy behind your blog, Unqualified Reservations? Were you thinking about these things proactively when you first set out to do that blog?
No, I was crazy. I should never have written anything at all.
Do you mean that? You don't mean that?
There's part of me that means that, but there's part of me that doesn't. When I think about the problem of being a dissident, I'm always reminded. Do you know the writer Ryszard Kapuscinski?
I don't.
He was he wrote mainly in the 80s and 90s. I think he died in the early 2000s. He was a journalist, and he was a correspondent